So I've been looking for a used piano for a couple months now, and generally they're pretty expensive, even upright pianos, usually between $2 or $3 grand or $5 or $6 grand, just depending on what brand they are and the condition and whatnot. And this is a Yamaha. I got this for $200 off Facebook Marketplace. It needed a lot of work. Multiple keys didn't work. And that was kind of my biggest question was, hey, can I get a really cheap piano that needs a lot of work, that has some broken keys that don't work, and am I able to fix it up and use it? So that's kind of the question I want to answer in this video is, hey, if you have sticking keys, if you have this used piano for really cheap, even if it's a good brand, will I be able to fix some of the issues with it on my own without spending a bunch of money? I'll just go through and kind of talk about some of the simple stuff that I found. I've never really worked on a piano, but it's pretty self-explanatory once you start looking into it. So obviously to take off the top cover, you just pop off. It has two little pop pins and it just, slides up. This lower cover has two little prongs. You just push in with your fingers and then it'll slide out and then you can take it out. And then this piece that goes across right there, there's two Phillips on either side that screwed in. I just unscrew those two and then I could take it off. And first off, I just spent a bunch of time cleaning it. Everything was super dusty, so I used an air compressor and just a vacuum to clean out all the dust that I could. And then I noticed starting to take out the keys, which really isn't that hard to do. You basically just pull up on the black keys before you take off the white keys very carefully and they'll pop off. And there's so much dust underneath the keys throughout the entire keyboard. So I just, every like 5 or 6 keys, I would take off 2 or 3, get a vacuum in there, clean everything out. So most of it, I've just spent a lot of time cleaning and getting all the dust out. And that's definitely helped some. And then I started addressing some of the stuck keys that wouldn't play. So I think 2 main issues that I found is on one of the keys, this piece popped up and was loose. So I ended up having to use 2 different screwdrivers on either side. It wasn't broken or anything, just the glue had separated from underneath here. And so I had to use 2 different screwdrivers, push it back into the place, which took me almost 25 minutes to do this. And then left it like that, and I just stuck a screwdriver with a little bit of wood glue in here and tapped it on the sides and just let it dry, and it fixed it. It's been working great. Another issue, like these 2 keys, they don't really work. I found that is because the springs on both sides are broken. So what that means is up here, that black piece and that black piece should be pressed up underneath. So watch as if I push it back into place like that, immediately plays just fine, but then it pops right back out. So that's probably going to be the most difficult fix, is getting replacements for those springs. But I'm sure I'll be able to find them online and eventually get them in. So I haven't fixed that one yet, but I'm still working on it. And then another thing I noticed is some of the keys were loose, and these guides, the glue had just separated and come loose. So the key is just pretty loose and it drags on the other key sometimes. So another simple fix, just taking these, cleaning them. I got a pencil and mark the front and the back, and then just a little bit of wood glue, and press them together for about 10 minutes and fixes it right up. Yeah, just a ton of cleaning. I mean, there's a bunch of dust. There's still a good amount of dust in here, and just cleaning up everything. I'm basically just gonna fix everything I can on it, and then anything I can't fix, I'll just kind of leave as is. I think I've been able to fix 4 out of the 6 keys that were working, which is great. I mean, for $200, if 99% of the keys work on this piano, and if I can tune it, that'll be a win. So just thought I would share for anyone looking for a piano that might think, hey, you know, is that something I can fix different keys or fix up and tune on my own? And the answer is yes. It'll probably be a couple $100s to have a tuner come out and tune the piano, but I mean, that's what you expect for any tuning on a piano. So an update on the Yamaha. I got the piano tuned. Still after that, I actually, while the piano was being tuned, one of the strings broke. So this one right here only has one string because the other one is broken, but not a big deal. It still plays, and it'd be like $45 for the tuner to replace that string. It's just more of getting the right size. These strings aren't as hard to replace because they're just the single string, but these have the, looks like copper woven thing around it. Another thing I had to do was a couple of the keys still didn't work just because I believe what it's called the fork spring. This spring right here, which as you press, it pushes up that shaft, which connects right there, which in turn hits the key, or hits the hammer that does the key. So if that spring right here breaks, this lever will fall back, kind of like it is right now, as you can see. But if it stays there and you press the key again, it won't play. It's supposed to return after it gets to that position. So some of those springs were broken, a little hard to get to, but I reached in with a needle nose, pulled them out, and got these 1-inch fork springs off eBay. I was a little worried because there wasn't like an exact Yamaha part replacement, but they're kind of bell-shaped on the bottom and the top, and different sizes on the bottom and the top. So the wider spot fit actually really well on the base, and you know, if you need to, you can always trim it down or cut it to the size you need and then glue it in the top or bottom. And it fit in there. It just took me about a minute to get it fit in there correctly, but you can see I replaced those two right here and then this one. And after I fixed that, all of the keys are now playing except for one where the hammer actually came, the base actually came loose, this one right there. But it's not broken inside, it's just the wood glue separated. So this one's a hard fix. You have to go in and position it to fit in that notch again, and then you glue it back. So it's really tight to get in there. You have to use like a spoke on either side, but it's doable. It's not impossible. But I mean, it's this key down here, which, I mean, how often are you going to use that? Same thing with one up here. This one is the same way, but besides that, the piano plays and sounds great after getting it tuned. It's not, you know, 100% perfect, but the bass also sounds really good. But I mean, for what it's worth, $200, about 3 or 4 hours worth of cleaning, $150 to tune the piano, and you know, I could replace this one string for $45. I mean, this is in great shape. So I mean, if you find one of these pianos, it's got some rust on it, it's really dusty, but you know, the condition of all the keys back here is okay, or it's just dirty, or it just has a few fork springs that are broken. Even though it might have like 10 or 15 keys that don't play, it takes a few hours of work and $100 for a tune and like $2 in parts to get it back up and running. So just a testament. I wanted to post this video about the success in this project and share what I found. Thanks for watching.